Hello, and Monsters Abound here. Just now, you probably would have seen the release of the Cathay trailer for Warhammer 3. How exciting! We got to see lots of new units, both for Cathay and, of course, Tzeentch, as well as some of the scenery that we'll see during Cathay's campaign in Warhammer 3. So, we got access to the video yesterday, which means I haven't had much time to make a video, so I'm mostly going to ad-lib this, but I thought what we'd do is we'll just take a quick look through the video, sort of pick out some points, then have a look at some of the artwork, see what we can divine from what we have so far.
From the stars came the will to shape fate, hurling this world toward ruin.
So this scary-looking lady is Miao Ying, the Storm Dragon, and ruler of the northern provinces. And she and her brother, Zhao Ming, are both children of the Dragon Emperor, who, kind of spoilers I guess, is a dragon. Also, he's apparently older than when the old ones came to the Warhammer world. So what she's saying here, from the stars came the will to shape fate, hurling the world towards ruin. This could have a couple of meanings, because there's two different things she could be referring to. The first is that she could be referring to Tzeentch, because Tzeentch, of course, is the shaper of fates. Alternatively, she could be talking about the old ones, because the old ones shaped the Warhammer world and then fucked it up. It must be actually quite galling for the Dragon Emperor, because I imagine he was just having a lovely time in the Warhammer world, just chilling, literally, because it was a lot colder. And then suddenly, these space neighbours come knocking. They turn up the thermostat, which instantly must be like, did you discuss this with me? And the next thing you know, they've completely fucked the world up by dropping a giant dimensional rift in your North Pole. So I could totally understand why the Dragon Emperor may be a little bit teasy. Now, according to the blog that's come alongside this, the rulers of Cathay are immortal dragons. And as we said, the Dragon Emperor is very old. He's as old as the world, potentially. And apparently his power level is on par with most gods. And so they decided they couldn't have the Dragon Emperor as a legendary lord, because, you wouldn't have Khorne as a legendary lord. That would be a little bit too much. So you can be playing as his son and daughter. And so that's going to be quite interesting. And they themselves are dragons, as we will see. Can they turn into dragons on the battlefield? I don't know, but isn't that going to be interesting to find out? So anyway, the last part of this scene is we can kind of see what looks like the Bastion, which is the great wall that Cathay uses to defend themselves against chaos. It looks like it's fallen, and it looks like there's sort of a rift in the sky. I don't think that's the Polar Warp Gate, because I don't think the Bastion is that far north. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but interesting nonetheless. So here we get our first glimpse of Grand Cathay. And holy shit, it looks beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, look at that. Float. It basically looks like the Three Kingdom terrain, just if you've taken a shit ton of drugs. And I mean like some really good shit. It looks amazing. Now, interestingly, this could potentially be one of the siege maps. I don't know. What makes me say I'm not sure is we've got those overlapping bridges. You've kind of got this sort of like pathway and the bridges over the top. It looks like infantry's moving across. Now, I flagged this up as I don't think the engine can do that. However, Great Book of Grudges has said that actually in the community map making project, there are maps that do that. So I will hold my hands up if I'm incorrect on that. I'm not 100%. I'm still not convinced that the engine can potentially do that. But looking at the rest of the map, it's got walls, it's got towers, it's got gates, it's got all the things that you would suggest that a siege map should have. So is this one of the siege maps? We don't know. What else is interesting is you get the first look at their flying cavalry unit. Now, this is based on the sort of like the East Asian, I think it's Kirin, mythological sort of creature, which is like a scaly dragon horse. You see these quite a lot in the rest of the video. So we can still see more of these floating islands, the floating castles. I mean, a floating castle, great for security, but a bugger to get your weekly shop up to, isn't it? If you're coming back with, 4 or 5 bags from Tesco, and you take one look up and you're thinking, it's going to be a fucking nightmare to get up there. You're not going to want to do it in 2 lots, are you? So you're going to wrench your arms trying to take all the bags at the same time. I mean, you could order online, I guess, but still, are they going to deliver there? That's the question. I mean, yeah, obviously the big bronze boy is going to come to life. I mean, let's not beat around the bush here. So here we can see what I guess might be a hero. We've got these sort of spear boys in the heavy armour. We've got in the centre, they look like halberd infantry with shields. And then over on the far side, it's difficult to see, but you can see the sort of more malicious spearman units, which I guess may be sort of like a tier 1, potentially, infantry unit. So Grand Cathay seems like it has some balloons, some 80 days around the world type balloons. Looks like there's 2 different types. Ones with sort of like long shooty guns and potentially rockets as well. So that's fun. A little bit of a mix there with the Air Force. That's going to be an absolute bastard to deal with for some races, like Beastmen and stuff, but I guess we'll see how that pans out.
This burden is mine to bear.
So it looks like the trailer sort of follows a storyline following these 2 characters, one of which is some sort of dragon blood sorcerer or something. There's 2 different schools of magic, yin and yang, I believe. So that could be quite interesting. And this, I guess, might be some sort of engineer because she flies the balloon. So I'm guessing she might be some sort of engineer. So got sort of a sorcerer magic character and sort of a balloon engineering character. So could that, is like a balloon a mount for an engineer character? That would be really cool. Oh, can you imagine? Just thinking about it gets me excited.
To offer guidance where it is most needed. To demand sacrifice.
Of course, no trailer would be complete without a foil for our main characters to deal with. And in this trailer, we get to see a little bit of Tzeentch. Holy shit, what a trailer this is, and already it's just so much better than any previous trailer I've ever done. I mean, you've got an air fight, you've literally got an aerial battle taking place, which I think this is why they matched Cathay with Tzeentch, because it looks like Tzeentch has got a fair few flying units as well, so that sort of like aerial battle, I can imagine that would be very exciting for sort of any trailer creator. They're instantly thinking, well, we can have an aerial battle, that's going to be bitchin' cool, and it is. Already we can see some screamers of Tzeentch, disc riders as well, so the Chaos Warriors riding discs of Tzeentch, Furies, which is to be expected, so at least 3 flying units for Tzeentch, and we can see that the balloons obviously have, I personally wouldn't be flying a balloon in that. I'll be honest, right, hand on heart, I've never flown in a balloon. However, if I was to go flying in a balloon, it wouldn't be during a demonic invasion. It would be, at the worst, a slightly overcast day. That's just me. Obviously, I've very little experience in the area. Wouldn't be doing it. We'll see later how it wasn't a good idea. So my concerns are founded. But let's carry on. She seems ludicrously fucking chill. I would be literally pooping. There would be mixtures of screaming, crying. I would be in the fetal position. I wouldn't just be, turning the wheel like I was having a lovely time. So this could just be a greater demon of Tzeentch, but it could also be Kiros Fateweaver, who we suspect is going to be the legendary lord for Tzeentch. Either way, had a bit of a makeover, haven't they? Because obviously we had them in Warhammer 1, but he's looking a little bit more sexy. I mean, I don't want to to say I told you so, but... So they invented balloons, cannons, giant bronze monster things. At no point did anyone go, maybe a parachute. Just throwing it out there. So looking at Tzeentch's forces, we can definitely see blue and pink horrors here. There's definitely some sort of marauder who, well, he's got a big claw on, so that's interesting. And obviously we've seen the screamers, and I think there's a flamer at one point, the discs, all that kind of good stuff. So a lot of stuff coming there from Tzeentch. We don't get a good look at what they've got coming, but I think they will be coming after Cathay. So I guess keep an eye out.
Of the great bastion.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff. I mean, it'd be one thing just to have some big old bronze boys leveling glaives at people, but the fact they can do ninja moves is, I mean, double thumbs up. Really, just chef kiss. Mwah.
Supreme Matriarch of Nangao.
You're gonna do a superhero landing. Wait for it.
Of the storm winds, daughter of the dragon emperor.
Superhero landing. Yeah, that's really hard on your knees.
So obviously the game will now be coming in early 2022. A little bit disappointed about the delay, but I'm going to be honest, I did see it coming a mile off. Although it's going to give them time to do some polish, which personally I think is great, because it's just going to make the game significantly better than it obviously already is. So apparently in the campaign, Cathay is a defensively focused army, and infantry and missile units will sort of buff each other if they're nearby, so creating sort of like a yin-yang harmony effect. They're also quite slow moving, easy flank, but flying machines, alchemists and dragon sorcerers do much to make the army a formidable one. So they're going to be quite slow, quite dwarf-like, I guess, in some respects. But obviously with potentially some slightly more fast-moving units with the flying lizard horses and the balloons. And obviously they've got quite, looks like they're going to be packing a fair amount of artillery and stuff as well. But they will be having a roster reveal and unit spotlight in the coming weeks, which is quite exciting. And it seems like we're going to hear more about Cathay very, very soon. It looks like the next sort of like few weeks will be a lot of Cathay information coming right at you. Obviously with Cathay, there's not really been a huge amount of lore. They have been mentioned in Warhammer lore, but there's never really been sort of comprehensive guides to them. So a lot of this stuff is going to be new. A lot of the lore is going to be coming sort of fresh. So I know sort of people who really love the Warhammer lore, me included, will be very excited about that. So I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more from Games Workshop as well as Creative Assembly about sort of how Cathay actually works. Maybe even some, you know what? I'd love a novel, like a Black Library novel about Cathay. I'd just like to know what sort of like, you know, the society's like, that kind of thing, especially being ruled over by dragons. That's got to be pretty bitching, hasn't it? That's got to be pretty cool. Anyway, so that was the trailer and the little bits that we know so far. No doubt more information will be coming forthwith, but that's going to have to wait until next time. Thank you very much for watching.
From the stars came the will to shape fate, hurling this world toward ruin. burden is mine to bear. To offer guidance where it is most needed. To demand sacrifice. Sentinel of the Great Bastion!